and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast with your hosts, Sarah and Brandon. What are you laughing about?
Just how irritated we get right before recording.
Yeah, what
I
is
could
that?
hear the shushing still happening while you were doing the intro the first time.
Okay.
I didn't mean to. Yeah, anyway.
So what are you drinking there?
Lukewarm peppermint tea.
Nice.
What are you drinking over there?
I have two beverages. I have a Hefeweizen beer, and I have a blueberry kombucha.
Nice.
Which I wonder, because I've been kind of gaining some weight. I gained like 12 pounds in the past, 2 or 3 weeks?
Wait, no. Because when was the last time that you weighed yourself? Did we? I don't know if we got back to that.
That's true, but I've only noticed this gut starting to develop.
Can we think of a different word for it? It's such an ugly word.
It's kind of a fun word.
Pooch is kind of fun.
I prefer gut.
Really? All right. Well, okay.
So, I wonder if kombucha creates a gut.
I think what you're trying to do here is steer away from potato being the culprit.
Yeah, I have been eating a lot of potato.
And donuts.
I'm not. That's true.
And Diablo
donuts.
too.
And a lot of sitting with Diablo too.
I like how you're trying to point the finger at the health food that helps your gut.
It's definitely
Well
not.
played, sir.
It's definitely not the hash browns that I've been obsessed with making
Well,
lately.
when you broke it down for me, like a potato every time.
So, something amazing happened. We were watching, what is that baking show? I think that's who we were watching. Anyway,
Was it
I saw
Nadia?
some. I think maybe.
Did she make hash browns?
I think maybe.
She probably put some like twist on it and.
Well, anyway, I saw someone making hash browns, and I just didn't understand you could just cheese grate them. Use a cheese grater, and just have hash browns. Just throw them in a pan and fry them up.
And I think you have to explain. We've probably mentioned it before. Your history with potatoes. Your relationship with potatoes.
I don't like potatoes.
Like, I love fucking potato. I fucking love potatoes.
You love fucking potatoes?
I love them. I love them
That's
in fry
obscene.
form. I love them in, if I could, I probably would. No, because that doesn't have to do with my mouth.
I think most people like at least one form of potato.
Yeah. And Brandon, you can like take or leave fries. You like sweet potato fries.
Yeah.
But anytime there's like full potatoes, like in a breakfast burrito, like full chunks, that like ruins the breakfast burrito for him. Full potatoes in like Thanksgiving food or just any dish, it kind of ruins it. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't like chunks of potato. It feels like filler. It doesn't really have flavor. I mean, you can season it and load it with butter, but just eat seasoning and butter.
I mean, to me, it's like, I feel like
I'm going to get hate for that, for that anti-potato.
It's just in that family of like maybe starchy, or it's not flour, but it's like just a dense, heavy comfort food. And it's exactly why I love them. So
I think my problem is I like the fried crispiness. So it could pretty much just be anything that's just fried and crispy.
That's true.
Because that's what, I like fries and I like hash browns.
Yeah.
And just realizing that they're so easy to make.
So when
I started making them like every morning.
So when he was like, "Oh, I want to make some hash browns," and I was like, I did a double take. What are you talking about? You hate potatoes, and he was like, "Not when they're hash browns."
Hash browns are fucking amazing.
Yeah. What about tater tots?
Tater tots are basically just little hash brown clumps. They're amazing, but just a chunk of potato. I don't know. My mom used to bake potatoes, like when you
I love a baked potato.
You cut them into chunks, and then you bake them with like seasoning on them. And it's just too much of that
potato.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, see, your love of the potato is not pure. You love the fried.
Yeah,
and potato, Twinkie, onions. You love fried.
Onion rings are good. So maybe that's where my gut came from and not the kombucha. But I am wondering if kombucha does, because it's like semi-alcoholic or something.
You're not drinking it in enough quantities. Like,
we've been drinking a lot of them.
Yeah, but
lately,
even if you drink as much beer as the kombucha we've been drinking, kombucha, whatever. I can't shut up. You wouldn't have a gut like that. Because even like if you had, I think like a beer a day, I don't think you'd get like a beer gut.
Yeah.
So you'd have to drink a lot of kombucha. Kombucha? Say it. You say it?
Kombucha.
Kombucha. I don't know why.
I think that's how you say it.
Now I'm becoming self-conscious.
You'd have to drink so much kombucha.
Screw you.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. But you don't weigh yourself often. So
That's true, but
I don't think you would know.
I have consistently been at a consistent weight all
Yeah.
my life, like fluctuating maybe 10 pounds below,
Yeah.
but I've never been above it. I've never been the weight that I am right now. And it's fine. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And when I noticed, in the mirror, like, oh, and also just sitting, like I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can
That's
feel
what sucks.
I can feel it being like compressed and like, oh,
Trying to fold an unfoldable mass.
like this thing is blocking me from sitting.
Maybe that's why I like sitting at a very obtuse angle.
Yeah.
Like back in my chair. Cause yeah. Well, it's why I don't like wearing tight pants. Cause then it's a constant reminder of like love handles that I didn't used to have.
Well, nobody looks good bent,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when you said that the other day, I said no one, like
Maybe,
a
like-
supermodel could sit, 90 degrees and like there's going to be a fold.
maybe not though. Maybe if you're like ultra skinny, one of those.
I think if you're like
ultra skinny
anorexic and
supermodels.
like on the verge of death.
Ooh,
Yeah. We won't laugh about that.
no.
But thanks, Charles.
Charlie, our dog, was in the corner going, "Oh." We must have said something that upset him.
But we were also like doing a lot of donut runs. Like we started like rewarding ourselves with like, okay, if we have to get up early, let's make like a fun thing and let's go get donuts. And then it became like I'd get like 2, and then I started getting 3, and then Brandon was getting 4, and he started getting like 5.
And a box.
And then he was like, let's get a box. And I was like, I think this is not a good idea, but I'm going to go with it.
In hindsight, blaming the kombucha was ridiculous.
Really ridiculous. But I love your effort. I love that you just went for it.
It wasn't an effort. It was just that I hadn't even thought about the donuts and potatoes.
My heart says I don't want to besmirch hash browns and donuts, so I'm gonna aim for the kombucha.
It was not that well thought out. It was just, I wonder if it's the kombucha doing this to me. Completely oblivious.
Subconsciously, it was really thought out. I think.
You think so?
It was strategic.
You're giving me a lot of credit, but thanks.
Subconsciously, it's under the brain.
You're still giving me credit for that process.
I just love that. It's so funny. I'm sorry. So
It's fine.
I went along with the box of donuts idea because I kind of knew that I was going to be doing something drastic because I've been
There's just something beautiful about a box of donuts.
well, yeah, okay, there's that too, but I was building to something. No,
Okay, sorry.
no,
I didn't mean to diminish your...
I was quite heavy like in my late 20s, or I got heavier and heavier like in my 30s and like when I was in my last relationship. Someone mentioned that I mentioned my ex a lot. I don't mention him by name, but I just thought it might bear mentioning that Brandon knows all about that relationship, and I was with the guy for 13 years. So
It's a long time.
there's a lot of experiences that I had and like things that I went through as a person that happened, and it just happens that he was there, and it wasn't all bad, but it's
Right.
not like I'm pining for him. And I just want to be very clear that like Brandon knows, and he also knows that when I talk about that time or I mention my ex, there's not like a thing there.
And I don't feel like you talk about your ex that much.
I think because I just have like a lot of stuff that happened and stories that happened when I was with him. And it's like kind of to distinguish like, oh, before I was with Brandon. I
Yeah.
think that's like, it's like a marker.
And some of them are good stories,
Yeah.
like Little Tiny Bill.
Right.
Like, if you guys don't know about it, it's an advertisement that was playing in England in what, like the no, not the 90s.
No.
The 2000s?
Yeah. What is it? The aughts is what they call them.
Aughts.
I think that's like zeros.
And it's about like an insurance company or something. It's like Little
Mm-hmm.
Bill. And there's a little 3D animated Bill that goes, Little Tiny Bill.
Uh-huh. And he's very like jaunty and just like
Yeah.
upbeat and really cute. And I started singing it one day and Brandon was like, what is that? I
What
was like,
the hell
oh
are
my
you
God,
saying?
I have to show you because it just is like an earworm. What was I saying the other day?
Yeah,
The
it's
other
an
day I was saying
earbug.
Earworm. And he's adorable. And
And
Brandon,
you can check the video out on YouTube if you
Yeah.
are interested. Interested? Excuse me.
Yeah, just search English commercial, Little Tiny Bill, or
Yeah, Little Tiny Bill.
I can't remember what car insurance, but it's really cute and like there's something so addictive about it, or
The
like
way
just
the way he moves, he's like Little Tiny Bill. Like
yeah, he's like
got
pumping his. He's like, what would you call
he's
this?
so confident.
Action? Yeah, he's very confident.
and he does this like comedic kind of pause.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah. So how were we? Oh,
I was just saying, you know,
it was
good.
like that was when I was with my ex, and my ex would, like call me in from the other room when it was on because he knew I just loved it, and I'd like come running in like, it's Little Bill,
And he's just there rolling his eyes at you.
but yet he did have nice moments because he would like call me in because he knew I loved it, so it wasn't just like I'm gonna change the channel. He'd be like, your commercial's on. So I just wanted to address that. That like I'm not in contact with him. You know, he texts me like once every 6 months pictures of the dog that we had together. We, you know, I got one, he got the other.
Had together.
You know,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it.
I feel like this part may be unnecessary. I mean, you can cut what I just said.
Well, no, because if other people like are thinking she mentions her ex a lot, like there's no threat there to our relationship with.
I know, but I don't think you do mention it.
I mention him a fair amount.
Do you?
But again, it was 13 fucking years. Like, I think at the time of my divorce, that would have been like a third of my life.
That's a lot of your life.
Yeah. Like a lot of experiences happened. And I just mentioned that he was like there and involved. And
Well,
no.
and when you were in England, you were living with him.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't
you have
like,
a
oh,
lot
I
of-
went there by myself.
You have a lot of stories from England and a lot of kind of cultural things that you'll say to me, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
And just a lot of like Anglo
it's an English
references, you know. Excuse me. But anyway, back to so around that time it was pretty heavy, and then I joined like a 12-step program and I lost a bunch of weight.
Forgot where we
See,
were.
this is my skills. This is my talent. I can always find my way back.
Wow.
Usually, always. Usually. And then after I met Brandon, of course, like, you know, you go through the infatuation period and then you like fall into like your love period and you like eat a lot together. But you stayed skinny. I just gradually like started putting on weight. And lately, especially during, I think, the pandemic, I really got into like being indoors and like eating chocolate chip cookies and all that kind of stuff.
Playing video games with me.
Yeah. So I was like, I knew I was going to do something drastic. I had been working with someone and she mentioned this cleanse and it's like not cheap. And I ordered it and it's like you take all these amino acids and you take this other shit and you drink the shake. So I kind of knew when the box of donuts thing happened, I was like, I'm going to go for this right now because soon I'm going to be very abstinent. You know, I'm going to be very clean eating, at least for 30 days while I do this cleanse. And I'm on like day 7 or 8. And
Congrats.
thank you. But so otherwise I think I would have been like, maybe a box is not a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice.
It was nice.
It was nice. And, you know, if you can control yourself, it's really nice because you can just have it there to, like, you know, pick at.
Yeah. And I can't really I can control myself okay with donuts, but I think because I know how much you love them, I kind of am a little more like hands off. Whereas with the chocolate chip cookies, if we have like a batch,
I don't know. You were kind of...
All right. So here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing.
I had bought some donuts and you were like, you mind if I have some of this one?
He said, let's get a box of donuts to share. I picked like 2 or 3, maybe 4.
Did I say to share?
So what you should have said was, I'm going to get a box of donuts. You get the ones you want. Instead of, let's get a box of donuts. I picked 3 or 4. You picked, what is 12 minus 4?
Did you pick 3 or 4?
Yeah. Okay, maybe 2 or 3. And then Brandon
picked 2 or 3 and then I picked
all the rest. But like, I know the ones that are like his absolute favorite, but I broke into a maple classic. What is it called? Old fashioned?
Old fashioned.
Because I just wanted to taste like my mom used to love, she loves maple bars. That's like her thing. And I never really liked maple. Like I hate fudge, but I hate maple fudge. I took a bite of that baby.
Maple fudge?
Yeah, they have maple flavor.
What is that?
You would probably love it.
What is maple fudge?
Because you like fudge. It's maple flavored fudge.
What? Okay.
You might love it if you like fudge.
I don't think so. That sounds a bit...
But you love... Oh,
I like fudge, but it sounds a bit...
I don't know.
Sounds like a weird mix.
So I took a bite of this maple old fashioned and I was like, holy shit, it does something to your mouth and your brain that like regular like chocolate or frosting doesn't do. There's something, maybe it's just extra, maybe it's maple syrup. That's probably what it is.
I don't think it's made
It
with
does-
actual maple syrup. I
It
think
did
it's made
something.
with. It's probably made with breakfast syrup,
Oh, wow.
which is not maple syrup.
It tastes very mapley, but
Yeah, it's probably just flavoring.
okay. Well, it did something to my system that like opened the floodgates. Like it was like, you know, when a shark senses blood in the water, like a frenzy. And I kept going back.
That's
and then I was
true.
like, oh, by the way, I broke into the maple old fashioned. And you were like, you have other donuts.
That's cool.
No, you were like, you bought
Not
other
gonna
donuts.
cry
And I was
about
like,
it or
and I
anything.
like looked at you and you were like, baby, I'm messing with you.
I am just fucking with you when
But you
I do
keep-
that.
But I knew that your initial reaction
They're just donuts.
was the heart reaction. Yeah, but you and donuts is like you and hash browns. Like you have a relationship.
I'm not like that obsessed
But it was
with
like
them.
you do that and you say you're joking, but you keep bringing it up and you keep saying how like you picked 2 or 3, but like so the rest of the 8 or 9 was for you.
Because you had said something sassy. I think you had said something. You were trying to implement me as though I'm some kind of
Implicate you?
as though I'm some sort of like donut hog. And you were like, well, I got 2 or 3 and Brandon had his. And I'm like, wait a minute. You broke into my side of the donuts. You broke into some that I had picked out.
You had picked out like the majority, like 3/4 of them.
The only reason I'm saying that is because you were like, Brandon over here, this fucking guy, he's donut obsessed. He'll eat you out of house and home if you're living off of donuts or something, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to throw it back in your face.
I don't know. I feel like because I picked out like the ones that I want. I like a plain and maybe like a pink frosting with sprinkles and I got one blueberry, which actually I don't really like. I decided, and then I thought I'm gonna let him.
You don't like the blueberries?
I don't like them as much. They're a little too sweet or something.
I mean, they're all very sweet.
They're something. I think I'm just not. Apart from blueberry muffins, which I oddly love, there's just something about the blueberry donut. It wasn't doing it for me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Which is why I then went to the maple old fashioned, but I didn't quite realize your feelings about it. Even
Oh my
though
gosh,
you say you're
I was
joking.
just joking.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So
Okay.
next time if we ever get a box of donuts, we just need to have like a conversation beforehand, an agreement, if you will, an understanding. Because I want to be very clear I'm
Yeah.
not crossing a line that's going to get me daggers.
I am a little bit, I guess, what would you call it? Possessive over my donut picks. It's like one time I went out for donuts with Emmanuel.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
I think it was Emmanuel and John. And Emmanuel was like, I don't remember which ones were mine. And I'm like, I remember. Don't you even?
Don't even pull that shit. This isn't like Chinese food where we're just going to be like sharing.
I
No.
remember the exact donuts
Yeah.
there, you know.
Well, like you will deliberately get like 2 blueberries or, you know, like I have very, you know, carefully thought out which ones I want and the ratio I want them in. And I think that's fair. Like, yeah, if you're picking a thing out like that, yeah, donuts are just not communal eating, in my opinion, unless you're getting donut holes and then they're all the same.
But again, I mean, it's just kind of, you know, it's fine because they're just donuts. They're only like 75 cents or $1 a piece.
But we don't have any places that are like good donut places that are kind of really close to us.
That's
'Cause
true.
we have to drive like a half hour. I mean, so like anytime we're having to go to the dump, we would try to go make a donut run to like reward ourselves for the disgustingness of the dump. Mm-hmm. And, you know, flush that out of our system. And I just know that you're very careful or thoughtful about like preparing food and like picking your food and you love certain things. Like the things you love, you really love them. And so I try to even though I'm usually the one who's like eating more and like eating stuff.
You don't eat that much. I don't know why you're...
But like if there's like chocolate chip cookies or some kind of sweets, like I'm the one who's usually, you'll feel like making a pan of brownies and
You
I'm
do
like,
love chocolate chip cookies.
I fucking love them
You're
so
kind of
much.
like that with the way I am with donuts.
But I don't think I get like mad at you, but usually because I think you kind
Get
of
mad at you.
if you eat them.
I
but
kind of just
usually
leave the chocolate chip
you do.
cookies.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. So I'm on this cleanse and I kind of feel like I would just like to stay eating this way forever because none of the stuff I'm allowed to eat, and they're called like flex foods or lifestyle meals, and there's like no bread except I think for like whole grain, like I'm eating like this sprouted bread. And of course it's not as amazing as like a donut, but it doesn't trigger me. It doesn't trigger a feeding frenzy. Like I eat and I'm satisfied.
Well,
and
yeah,
I feel
because
like there's
it's
no
not...
come down.
It's not anything really, amazing.
And it's not
just
addictive or bad
sustenance.
for you. There's no like emotional charge to it. It's just fuel. And
If you're listening, if you're listening on YouTube, comment what is your favorite kind of donut, because I don't think I've tried that many different kinds of donuts.
really?
So I'd be interested
Really?
to know.
Like what kind of ones do you think are out there that
I don't know. I usually am a little bit overwhelmed when I get up to the donut counter because you got the person there waiting on you.
and if there's anyone behind you?
Yeah,
You're like,
and it's like, I'll just pick my regulars.
Well, next time that happens, if we go back to the donut shop, if there's someone behind us, we should just let them go. And then you can sit and like have your time. But it's true when you get up there, the person's like waiting, like, and you're like, can you just give me like
They're
10
like,
minutes?
I got to get back to my game.
Right. I gotta get back to, what is that game that Sergeant, what's his name, plays? I couldn't think of, Quasi Cupcakes.
Quasi Cupcakes. I've got to get back to Quasi Cupcakes. So can you fucking hurry your shit up?
Yeah.
They do kind of look impatient. Like any donut shop I think I've ever been to, they kind of have this impatience.
Yeah.
Like, God, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, fatso, pick out your fucking sweets so I can get back to my...
out the door.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what we should do next time is either take a picture of the donut case next time so we have it for reference, or just look them up online because they have all the different types. And then you can just decide, like we can sit in the car.
That's
we can
true.
decide and just like make a list or just go, I'm going to get 2 of these and 2 of these.
But still, I would like to know what people's favorite donuts would be.
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't trying to. Yeah, do that. Do what he said. So now what?
I don't know. So we talked about me getting fatter.
Stop saying that.
We talked about donuts.
You gained weight. You're not fat.
Kombucha.
Kombucha. Health food.
So I thought it would be fun to talk about some new movies coming out in 2024. Avatar 3 is coming out.
No. Yeah. I know the Tennis Pod was mentioning, like, how excited are you for the Avatar sequels? And a bunch of people were like, no.
And
just leave it.
Up to...
Oh, come on.
Like the pixelated Pixar movie, right? Mm-hmm. And it's called The Adventures of Cats.
I mean, they did make good Toy Story sequels. Some people argue that is it 3 or 4 are better than the first.
Well, the animation definitely got better because I think they started Toy Story when 3D animation was kind of not
in its
great.
Infancy.
Yeah.
But you have to have like
and then you had the people that were all kind of Uncanny Valley like.
That's true.
Or just kind of weird looking.
Didn't you mostly just see the evil little boy, Sid? Did you really see?
Yeah, he was horrible looking.
I mean, he was meant to be scary anyway.
But like I feel like his 3D model was just kind of like weird, and especially compared to Pixar now, it's like holy shit, day and night. Yeah, but Avatar 3, I feel like that might be good though. I like the Avatar movies.
I think if James Cameron is making it, which I assume, I think he's just always going to be a good filmmaker. Yep. I mean, there are movies I don't really care for.
James Cameron is directing it.
But I can't deny that his movies always end up supremely entertaining.
It's going to be starring Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
and
she's
some
in
other
some.
people I don't know.
She's in some sci-fi show that I wanted to watch. That was like, I think it was maybe like a series of short things that I wanted to ask you if you wanted to watch. It was like it kind of almost looked like a Black Mirror type. What do you call those? Like anthology, but sci-fi. Like apocalyptic stories. I forget what they're called. And she was in one, I guess, because it showed her. We should watch that.
Okay.
No more interesting movies coming out. Nothing
Not
of
really.
note.
Those were the kind of the top movies. Everything else was just untitled, untitled Disney movie. Like, well, okay. You don't have any info on it? Not a name or they're just working on. We know they're working on something. Don't know what. We're going to share that something we don't know that what they're working on.
So we went and picked up pumpkins today at a little local place, and Golden Delicious apples, which they do live up to their name. They're delicious. But anyway, so one of these days we're going to carve some pumpkins, and we thought we might do some recording. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure how that would work. So are you guys carving pumpkins? You should can you post pictures on
Taika
you
Wait.
can't post pictures in YouTube comments, can you?
On what?
YouTube comments.
Pictures? No, I don't think you can post pictures.
Well, you can
just
go.
do
You
emojis
can post to
and
our
stuff.
Instagram, I think, or post them on Instagram and maybe tag us, or
You can post links.
yeah, maybe. Oh, we'll definitely post pictures if we do the pumpkins. Although I really love the idea of carving pumpkins, but when it comes down to it, I get kind of like lazy. But we actually bought like kits, like with good stainless steel scoopers.
I think we need to get like a little, a little high or a little drunk or
that's
something.
a good idea.
That way, we have fun doing it.
Hey, it's fun. You don't have fun carving pumpkins?
It's fun, but I feel like it does get a little boring, maybe.
Well, it becomes kind of hard work when you're scooping all that shit out.
Does it?
Yeah. I think I would end up
I can
always,
scoop
even
your pumpkin.
as adult, having someone else scoop it for me.
Actually, there will be a...
Oh my god.
To circle back to this, there will be a Star Wars film coming out in 2025 that Taika Waititi will be directing.
Nice. Does
So-
it have a title?
Untitled Taika Waititi Star Wars film.
I love him. We've
He's
been watching What We Do in the Shadows. That was the other thing we were going to talk about.
Oops.
Which I think we watched the movie. I don't remember if we talked about this in another episode. We watched the movie, which is hilarious.
I don't think I watched the movie
Which is
with you.
Jermaine. Oh, you were like listening to it because I was watching it in bed on my new tablet. And Jermaine Clement, is that his name? And Taika and some other guy, the third guy, he was pretty funny too. And they probably had some other people in it. Oh, the Reese Darby, the
Oh, yeah.
Kiwi, he was in it. Oh, I guess Taika is a Kiwi as well, isn't he?
They're all Kiwis.
Oh yeah, I got confused.
Is that a derogatory term for them?
I don't know. We'll say New Zealandish. And then they are directing or producing the show, which is, I'd say, equally funny. And they had cameos at like toward the end of the first season.
Yeah.
It's really good.
They're awesome. He's so cool. He's
hilarious.
Yeah.
So
And
highly recommend that show.
what was that movie we watched? Into the
The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah. We definitely recommend that movie, I think.
Yeah, Sam Neill and the little kid from Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
And Taika, of course, has a cameo. I don't know if he always does, but...
And so does Reese Darby.
Oh, yeah, he does.
That's not his real name, though, is it?
No, I think it is.
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh.
Really funny, good, cute movie.
Yeah.
And then I love Jojo
Ricky
Rabbit.
Baker. Ricky Baker.
Speaking of earworms, that might be the best scene in the whole movie. And then I really like Jojo Rabbit. My mom didn't. She loved Hunt for the Wilder People, but she didn't like that one as much.
It definitely
it's a bit
had
heavy.
some heaviness to it.
It did.
Well,
but
I
it
mean,
was so funny
you
still.
kind of have to have heaviness to it because of the
Holocaust
topic.
story. Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit.
Oops, that wasn't what I was looking at. Reese.
And he was the rock guy
Darby.
in the he was the rock guy in the Thor movie.
Yeah.
In the
Ragnarok?
last Thor movie?
I think so. Ragnarok.
Yeah, the hammer pulled you off or whatever.
Yeah. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
Pretty
good.
adult theme for
Yeah.
what is supposed to be a kids movie. Is it supposed to be a kids
It's
movie?
quite violent,
It
though.
is, yeah.
I mean, they don't show.
Probably
I think
supposed to be for people like our age.
Yeah,
I guess.
So I think they know about sex stuff by then.
Yeah.
I forget what else I've watched of his that. Oh, he did some of the. We talked about. What's the show with Jermaine and Brett?
Oh, What They Do in the Shadows?
No.
Jermaine and Brett.
Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords, yeah.
Yeah, he I think directed or produced some of those. So that whole tone, that whole style, maybe the New Zealand.
Some people would call it quirky, but
yeah.
I don't know that it's quirky. I think it's just kind of lighthearted.
I think it's kind of
chill.
quirky. Just like
Really?
quirky people. It's about quirky people.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched Fly the Conchords, which I'm sure a lot of you have, like,
Would recommend it.
so fucking good. First season, especially. I think the second season suffered as it's kind of typical if you have a really strong first season. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Oh, and what's her freaking name?
Kristen Shaw, or whatever.
Yeah.
With the
She's
list
in
kind of
all
thing.
that.
She's in. I'm a little bit like burnout on her because she was popping up in 30 Rock, and she's a little bit. Because I think she's kind of cute and dorky, and then they give her like a psycho side.
She's been typecast as like a psycho.
Yeah. And then she showed up in What We Do in the Shadows, and we were kind of like...
And she was a psycho in that one, too.
Well, they're vampires, but...
Yeah, but she doesn't have to be a psycho. I mean, just look at, like, you know, the other two.
Yeah.
The woman
Three?
is a psycho.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
The two guys are...
They're just numbnuts.
Yeah, they're numbnuts. That's a good word for them.
Oh, but in that show, What We Do in the Shadows, I think Guillermo, like, steals the show. Do you think?
I
They're
think so.
so good.
They're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
Check it out.
It's really good.
Check it out.
But I also hear her voice so much because basically I watch Bob's Burgers while I'm working.
Yeah.
While I'm working really hard. But I have it on the background and her voice
Just so
is
we're
like
clear.
always. Yeah, so those are our picks.
Being a little shit. She's such a shit in that show.
Oh, I thought you were calling me that. I was like, what did I
No.
do? I know I am, but what did I do this time?
No, you didn't do anything yet, but she's a shit in that show.
Yeah, she is a shit.
Oh, and I'm sure other people know this, but Bob's Burgers actually not cameo, what's it called? The pilot episode.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know this.
They were cannibals in the pilot episode.
I think we have to watch it together.
They were like what would you call it? Hamburgering?
Yeah,
Not churning.
not churning. Grinding.
That's what you do with butter.
Grinding the meat.
They were grinding up human meat for their burgers
Mm-hmm.
in the pilot episode. Is that scratching bothering you?
No, it's going to show up on the microphone.
Okay.
So can you say that thing again? They were grinding.
They were grinding up human meat.
When you do that jaw, teeth jutting out under your top teeth,
You're very good English.
the angry face has the opposite effect, I think, of the one you want, which is like, it just makes me laugh. I love you. I love you so much.
God.
What can I do to make your life easier? Anyway, but which is funny because the very first like aired or official episode of Bob's Burgers is about them being falsely accused of grinding up human meat. So that's funny. I still need to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Is it still funny or is it just like...
It's kind of funny, but it's also like, ooh. You know, because they're taking rings off of fingers and
my God.
They chop a woman's, you know, disembodied hand. Chop her finger off. And then, you know, it's just a bit much.
Yeah. That they maybe like tried to get some early what do you call that? Like when they early kind of screening and it just didn't go well and we're going to change the direction of this.
Real cannibalism is a bit
Yeah. Not as funny as we thought it would be.
yeah.
Anyway, we're at 38 minutes. Do you want to give any parting gifts? I don't know why I said that. What's your favorite part of this autumn season that we've now transitioned into? Because I'm loving eating golden delicious apples, picking out pumpkins, the chill in the air, sweaters,
Yeah.
soup.
All the same.
that butternut squash soup we had.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I do like pumpkin spice lattes, but I probably won't be drinking those because calorific is not really on my plan.
I don't like the turning of the leaves, but I like the feel
Why don't you like that?
of, I don't know. I like green, but I like the feel of this time of year. It's very nice
And we're finally going to get some rain.
nostalgic,
Next
kind
week.
of cozy feeling. Like makes you think back on, you know, like there's gonna be a break coming up. I guess like Christmas break will be coming up.
So you
and
associate it with like holidays, like as a kid, like getting out of school.
yeah,
Because you did fucking hate school.
yeah.
Yeah. And having like hot chocolate and marshmallows and like good foods and pies.
Oh yeah, like kind of heavy foods.
Yeah.
And just sleeping in and it
Wood
being
smoke.
rain. I like rain.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I already
feel like you named
I feel like I already
everything.
named all of the things.
I think I was just
really
agreeing with what you were.
Yeah. Socks and sweaters and
Socks.
fire in the fireplace. Rain. I'm really looking forward to the rain. So yeah, I really love fall. I'm excited. Charlie's snoring. We put him to sleep, so maybe that means it's time to end. Don't want to put any of you guys to sleep.
Good one.
You want to do an outro?
No.
Okay.
But bye everybody.
Bye.